One love, Delta 9 travelers. One love. Welcome in. Welcome in to the International Digital Connection. Listen, we got so many headlines to update you with in this special presentation, live, right here with Delta 9 Media. Now, as you come in, as the flight is boarding, on your way in, ladies and gentlemen, please and thank you, hit that thumbs up button and help to boost this video in the algorithm so that everyone who is needing to be updated with this important trending information can get these updates on their timeline in their algorithm, right? Because guess what? We're hearing this conversation yet again, more problems in the sugar industry, right? But guess what? The president is out highlighting these headlines right here that we'll be getting into.
Factories. We're moving forward with greater value-added sugar production
and sustainability.
We are modernizing our factories. We're moving forward.
The modernization of the industry is necessary for its survival, resilience, and sustainability in meeting production targets, while strengthening collaboration with unions as the industry undergoes modernization.
So is it a modernization situation, or is it just a problem that has been going on for a while? Because it's been a while now, financial analysts, economists, the former finance minister, other persons in government as well, and other persons in leading positions in the political space in Guyana have been analyzing what's going on in our sugar industry, right? So could this be advancement, modernization, or more issues on the ground? Because the leader of the opposition was out and about, and a number of persons that are definitely affected were highlighting this. These are just some short parts of the headlines that we'll be getting into later in the live.
Why you asking me for someone? You ask the question? You ask me. You ask the question. Let me tell you something. So we said them answer that. They're not going to make something quite clear. And that is true. Before Mr. Wanda came here, the last meeting that was there at the training with Mississippi on the right. Mr. was asked, when will this money be paid? You know what was the response? Yes. That's when the money is available. Yeah, money is available. That's the problem. You're not going to be paid? Yes. Is that what you're saying? Correct. That's the kind of representative.
We want them release the money right now.
So situations on the ground, right, that persons are highlighting as it relates to what's going on in the industry, and we're hearing conversations coming in as well from the president on that. So we got some conflicting, contrasting, and very important headlines that we're going to be getting into. Plus, remember they had a special person. Let's see if I could get this. Well, I'm gonna jump into the during the live. But remember, we had a headline with a person that was supposed to be a special branch agent, and he would have gotten into an altercation with a person at the creek, and I think the person is the person that owned the facility. He and the person got into a back and forth, and allegedly there was a number of rounds that was discharged at the individual, causing the individual to lose one of his legs. Right? Guess what? He get remanded. So we got a headline right here. So, and a number of other refreshers so you could understand a bit more about the story if you wasn't following it all along. Right here on this live that we're going to be getting into. Plus the top cops were highlighting certain things were going on right now. New updates in what's going on with the extradition trial with the Mohameds, and the top cops were highlighting these details. Let's hear a little snippet of that headline that we'll be getting into.
I know that the fact that the thing now gone down to July, or not July, on a date to be announced, giving them nightmares. I know what a chap, they said, if he said anything about it last night, you know, you got a program Tuesday night, he's going to run him out, right? What people used to say, and I here, let me tell you, I'm not being disrespectfully, I grew up in the country. So when I use these countryman phrases, yeah, I must forgive me, because I grew up, I have to be extremely uncomfortable. Because when this whole thing started in October last year, the impression was created that in a short time, within a few weeks, it would have been all over, and the Mohammeds would have been sitting in some prison in the US.
There's so much going on. So much going on in the political space in Guyana, and there's so much going on with our women in politics right now in Guyana. Well, guess what? Who could have guessed? But I guess a lot of persons probably knew already. But we're going to update ourselves with these details in this live. Honorable Miss Broomes and Honorable Odessa Primus are family, allegedly. Interesting. Let's hear.
Tag Odessa Primus, she might surprise. And the emoji was an article about Odessa's Primus. Now, while I know the entire world know that is one thing I can't change, my sister, Eureka Charles, who died, is Odessa's Primus' mother. Odessa father is Primus, Odessa mother is Charles. Let me give you a breakdown. But I'm not representing the position merely on the fact because it's my niece.
Okay. So there's a number of things that Honorable Broomes will be highlighting on this live presentation about what's going on with one of the top members of Team Win right now. So we're going to be getting into those details, you know, because you see how much of a small world it really is, right? And as well, one other headline that we're going to be getting into on this live. Now, there's a rule and there's a mechanism, there's a structure that is set up as to how persons are placed in certain committees and hold certain positions. But persons were trying to do something different. And these were some of the results that came from that. We're going to get the full details coming in.
Very early that the Forward Guyana movement did not receive enough votes to attain a seat on any committee based on the formula that was utilized. And so we were all aware of that since last year. Was quite clear and made some pronouncements as it relates to his intention, as it relates to the leader of Forward Guyana movement, which is MP Amansa Walton this year. It was his intention to nominate her for the Foreign Relations Committee, and we also intended to nominate her for the Constitutional Reform Committee and to place her as an alternate on the Natural Resources Committee. And so that was our intention, and we.
Well, guess what? What happened with those intentions? Who was the persons that objected? Those and many, many other important details in this live. So thumbs up the live on your way in. Thumbs up the live on your way in. I'm telling you, we got so many more headlines with that to get into on this live presentation. And what we're gonna also hear from Honorable Amansa.
Look,
because
like I said, the lesson that I take away from it is people power. If people continue to speak up and rise up and hold this government accountable, they will have to do the right thing. You have to embarrass them into doing the right thing. Just like how we had to write to 7, 8 international organizations, write to the diplomatic community, just for them to convene a sitting of the National Assembly. You have to embarrass the PPP into action. The government must frighten the people.
Yep.
They should
The
be.
government must be afraid of the people. The government must understand that we need to be circumspect, or else these people gonna vote us out
The
next
people
time.
put you there. The people give you that job.
I'm telling you, so many headlines for us to jump into. And we're going to start off with the leader of the opposition out and about, right? On the ground with our brothers and probably some of our sisters as well in Guyana that are working in the sugar industry, going through a whole lot of problems right now. And they're highlighting a number of hurdles that they are facing. If you haven't already, Delta 9 Travelers, thumbs up the live. It costs you nothing to hit that thumbs up button and stay connected with everything trending in Guyana and in the diaspora. Become a part of the Delta 9 family. Subscribe and join Team Delta. Let's hear some of what is being highlighted on the ground. Unity or else, more of the same. Unity or more of this. This is not the first, second, or third time in recent months that we're seeing persons from different industries coming out and protesting. And we gotta ask ourselves, who and why are persons not making sure that these situations are rectified before it gets to this point? What's the reason why it's not being rectified in a meaningful way, and we keep seeing a repeat and a repeat and a repeat of what's going on?
He agreed that he said he agreed that we agree that they have a problem. So at least he's honest. How much is it worth for? When the man is like a 50 months. Only? Not only. Them man the man like a 15 and 16. You don't work a day in the field, you know. I can make father why you asking me? You ask the question. We ask the question. We tell you something. We said the man said that they're not going to something quite clear, and that is true. Before Mr. Mohamed came here, the last meeting that was there, I training the Mississippi on the right. And the question was asked, when will this money be paid? You know what? Yeah. That when your money is available. Yeah, money is available. That's the problem. Yes. Is that what you're saying? Correct. That's the kind of representative
You want them release the money right now, they can do it.
Exactly. Yeah. Money is always available. Money is paper, money is everything. Money is everything. Never get paid so good that pay them. The man sign that you were paying money. Let them print money and pay people money. Money and pay people money. You
know what's going on?
Yes, print them and pay.
Yeah, the man sign that you were paying and pay right. It's a lot of that factory.
Yeah, correct, buddy. Thank you, Franklin.
You see, we hearing this problem, oh, Guyana get labor problem, Guyana get labor shortage, this, that, and the third, right? But how come over and over again we also hearing conversations about persons working and not getting paid? We hearing this conversation a lot about persons working in Guyana and not getting paid. How could that make sense? The maths. You feel them man want down there making a set of knives and rowing and going on like that? We hearing from other persons on the other side of the political spectrum for a while, you know. Honorable Ramjatan and members of the AFC were highlighting the fact that certain changes need to be implemented in the same industry for a while now. And look what we got going on the road, right? If things flowing how it's supposed to flow, persons are not going to be out protesting. Let's hear some more of these details. Because guess what? The president was highlighting this.
You can't come and promise people to not take the promises.
But he did.
The promises done.
He cut off the recording and he said after he cut off the recording, man, we have a problem. Man, he cut it off. I'm telling him from
I'm telling him, playing a trade union. Failing people forever.
And he have 100,000 dollars.
Not have been here.
I'm listening. Não fica legal para ninguém. Agora os amal calas, amal ali calas.
Yes, let's pay the rest of it because this last year the promise to pay the money, you know. Last year the promise to money.
Just grab on them.
The money gone and look like the payout is last year. But the money gone in different places.
When we ask for
to revive and modernize the sugar industry, emphasizing that sugar continues to play a vital role in national life. He told the gathering of stakeholders, including sugar workers, that the modernization of the industry is necessary for its survival, resilience, and sustainability.
We are modernizing our factories. We are moving forward with greater value-added sugar production. We are looking at better ways of doing the job, more efficient way, more cost-effective way.
President Ali also called on the management of the Guyana Sugar Corporation to improve efficiency and consistency in meeting production targets, while strengthening collaboration with unions as the industry undergoes modernization.
But let me also say this clearly. The responsibility for reviving the sugar industry does not rest with management alone. It rests with all of us, because sugar does not only support sugar workers, sugar supports the entire community.
President of GAWU, C. Paul Narain, says the union welcomes government's continued support and reaffirmed his commitment to working alongside the government and Gaisuco's management to revive and modernize the sector. He pointed to the more than $16 billion in support provided to the industry by government so far this year, saying that the future of sugar looks bright.
This is not
Safe, wait, man. Wait. If everything is looking bright for sugar and billions of dollars is already invested, what's going on with them man money? What's going on with the workers' sap? What's going on with them man spending? What's going on with them man pay? There's what persons are really, out in the street about. We're hearing all of these conversations about how bright the industry is, this, that, and the third. But look at what's going on in the street, Delta 9 travelers. That's what I'm saying is important to support independent media, Because I see we're cooking up right there, but look what's going on in the street. Look at what is going on in the street.
Every time them I realize that guys, people school they can't put the same on the media, understand? Enough of them maybe never get mental education why exactly they don't want to brainwash.
Telling you about it.
That's why that's why I asked the president. I asked the president that day that during this out of a period, he should have paid some here and school. I should have gone up, people loan them when they start and pay back easy. Become punishing. The man shocking me up and telling me to give me on the $1,000. You understand? Let's give you on the $1,000 for my need all me everything. Exactly. I'm telling you on the $1,000, me and two other friends say I drink all the money. They go to class, live and get and get the water and that. So then you feel like we give me on the $1,000 because now we give money.
They need to do the honorable.
Cost of living and all other problems persons gotta consider, right? So many other hurdles that persons gotta surmount on a daily basis, and then they still gotta deal with the problems of going to work and the problem of getting paid after you done work. I'm telling you about it.
Not just support. This is a full rescue mission. This is the PPP government demonstrating that it will not let the sugar industry die under its watch.
Meanwhile, President Ali has extended an invitation to the Sugar Workers Union to take up the challenge of managing one of the country's sugar estates, noting that the government is interested in exploring different management models as part of efforts to strengthen and sustain the industry.
What? Different management models? They might want to hear about the money.
Years in this company, and you tell me no, let's get this exactly. I tell them I'm just
Get my chicken.
I've been
This last pound here, we sell chicken with $240. You never sell for like $220, right? Now feed the drop, chicken the drop. The baby chicken price not drop, not drop. So what causes price to drop? Don't some even know. Me know you know what man.
The minister of import chicken money. The minister of import chicken and push you out of business body. That is the problem. And then them turn and said, and I see license and nobody to import chicken in food out another way. Then I see no license the people, but chicken still come in the country. And you know, okay.
Feed the drop, chicken the drop, but the price drop.
Yeah.
So that tells you directly the chicken the food.
All right.
So is now, the little one won't mind. Yes,
Yeah, buddy. No money, no work. Right. No money, no
I'm with
work.
you. Now,
I've been going there. I've been going there police, so I'll be continue police.
we must speak to land will be here with you. No money, no work.
Wait, leave. Why you go to the check? You don't money to go money run things. No money, no work.
Correct is right.
If I got come here every morning, right? Till you get the money. Right. No money, no work. I've been going to police, so I'll be continue police.
It makes sense you walk on police, staff and police.
Staff and police? I've been already staff. Give me one time. Good morning, Civic. How are you doing? Good. My name is Issue. I will get one thing to tell Mr. Sobicar. They come to the Alden factory and see how much bag sugar spoil in the van.
How much tons they got in there? 400?
I don't know what ton, but like and how much time they take to make 1 bag of sugar before the factory stop. That is how we do it. They come and see.
Last time you went to this factory, say you come and reach out it, and to have yeah, after Easter, you say come back.
Corporal?
Alright, workers. Stand your grounds, we'll be back here. You just let us know. We have some people we communicate. I don't want to call them.
Scenes from the ground, Delta 9 travelers, and conversations coming in from those in authority about what's going on with our brothers and our sisters working in the sugar industry. One of Guyana's biggest, if not the biggest before oil, right? One that helped to build a lot of the infrastructural developments before we had this new resource that we would have started getting all of these funds from to do other things, right? We all think about the Delta 9 travelers. Drop it into the comment section, or definitely take a couple of seconds and call it in. And what are your views? It's up right now in the poll. I'm gonna put it up on the channel as a poll question. What are your views? Yes or no? Is Mohamed doing a great job as the opposition leader so far? Yes or no? Drop it into the comment section or vote. The poll is up on the channel right now. Is Mohamed doing a great job as the opposition leader so far? Yes or no? What do you think? Interact with the poll that we have in the live stream right now. In a couple of minutes, we're going to show you what persons are saying about that question as we continue with this live presentation. Big up to everybody in the chat right now. Rug Renard, thanks for being a part of the live, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. One of our insightful moderators and one of the first moderators in the live today on Wisdom Wednesdays right here with Delta 9 Media. Big up yourself every single time. Thanks for dropping the nines in the comment sections as well. I see the legal alien touchdown in the chat. Bobby, what's going on? Bobby is saying greetings, Delta 9. Big up yourself, Bobby. Thanks for tuning in to the live presentation. Nav Joe, good afternoon, Delta 9 Media and crew. Flyers, I'm on board, waiting for departure. I'm telling you, it's an international digital connection. Persons connected from all over the globe. So many headlines for us to update one another with. Remember that poll question. Is Mohamed doing a great job as the opposition leader? so far? Yes or no? Drop it into the comment section. Definitely vote on the poll that we have in the live presentation right now. And as we're talking about what's going on in the sugarcane industry and the leader of the opposition being out and about highlighting these details, guess what? We're going to hear right now from the top cops because Mr. Slow was highlighting these details about the opposition leader recently.
Legal observers have noted that the continued delay raises questions about the strength and merits of the case, a clear indication that the proceedings are politically motivated and form part of a broader pattern of action taken against the popular political opponent of the ruling PPP administration. The court has not provided a timeline for when its ruling will be delivered. So it can be delivered eventually. It is going to be delivered eventually. And I'm saying because you got to understand the challenge. The challenge is that the process, what they call the authority to proceed, the ATP, was biased. That is, I think, the gist of the argument. It was biased. So they're going to rule on that, whether it was biased or not. And depending on how they rule, then they're going to determine what are the next steps. And I don't believe, based on what I've read, it is that they're going to throw the matter and say it should not continue. I believe they will make some recommendation or some order as to how the matter should be proceeded with. So let me sit back and watch. But I know that the fact that the thing now gone down to July, or not July, on a date to be announced, giving them nightmares. I know when a chap, if you said anything about it last night, you know, you got a program Tuesday night, it's going to run him out, right? What you used to say, and I let me tell you something, I'm not being disrespectfully. I grew up in the country. So when I use these countryman phrases, yeah, I must forgive me. Because I grew up in an era where people weren't as sensitive to certain words as they are now. But when you run your mouth, what people say, like you wipe your mouth with plate cloth. That's one of the things they used to say. Like you wipe your mouth with plate cloth. And the next thing they used to tell, your mouth running like when sick nigga drink salts. Right? It's still when I became much older, I realized what I talk about, sick nigga and salts. Epsom salts, they used to get washed out with that. So two sayings I can link to that. You like talk, they say, like they wipe your mouth with plate cloth. I know many of you, right, like you eat parrot bati, right? They say like you eat parrot bati. And then they say your mouth running like when sick nigga drink salts. So the man has got up on a Tuesday night and run him out. In this case, like he drink the salts, they wipe the mouth, and he eat the parrot backside, right? So it would appear.
Yeah, hey, see here with some of the updates coming in from the top cop. Big up.
That is the case. So you run him out. So I know what you want to say last night. But I can tell you that they have to be extremely, extremely uncomfortable, because when this whole thing started in October last year, the impression was created that in a short time, within a few weeks, it would have been all over and the Mohammeds would have been sitting in some prison in the US. I hold no brief for the Mohammeds. I deal with facts. So they were arrested with the intention that they would not have been granted bail. My shade grant bail. And they turned up, the son, Azudin, turned up and was sworn as a member of parliament. That wasn't part of the plan. He should have never been there. Should have never been there. He should have been in jail. So therefore, he could not have been a member of parliament. He should not have been a member of parliament. And therefore, if you're not a member of parliament, you could not have been the leader of the opposition. The whole thing backfire. The whole thing back, you know, they say when you dig a hole, what you got to do? Then you dig a hole for somebody, don't dig one, dig two. One for them and one for you. That is what is happening. Right? Yeah, so I said oral diarrhea. There's another one. Yeah, thanks. Well, So you wipe out the last other thing you say it. That is what it is. So despite how they spin and despite what they do, it is clear that the outcome thus far is not what they had anticipated and expected. Never expected by now. The matter would have done, as I say, U.S. would have been dealing with the indictments that were filed against the Mohamed. Because let me tell you this. Their only intention was to get Azuddin Mohamed off the scenes in Guyana. That was the only intention. They don't care whether they have evidence for convict him in the States or not. Because when they tell about grand jury, I'm sure they know what the grand jury proceedings, how it goes.
We all think about what the top cop is highlighting right there. Right? New developments in the case. Insights coming in from persons who would have been in law enforcement for a number of years, giving us certain inside understanding about what's going on. Feel free to call it in, Delta 9 Travelers, or drop your comments into the comment section. Let's hear some more coming in from the former Assistant Commissioner.
In a grand jury, the prosecutor, they empanel the grand jury, the prosecutor goes to the grand jury, prosecutor say, look, this is what we have. They might call witnesses, the prosecutor might call witnesses. The people against whom the allegation is made, they ain't got no liar, they ain't got nobody representing them, and therefore that is why they say in the US that the grand jury would normally indict the armed sandwich because it's just it's a one-sided affair. One-sided. The prosecutor say, these are what we have against this person. They might bring a few witnesses, this is what. And that's it. So whatever evidence is presented, it's not challenged in the grand jury. There's no challenge to the evidence in the grand jury. So you see them jump up and they talk a lot of crap about grand jury and that is how it works. It's not that if it's a process where the evidence that is presented is interrogated to determine its value.
Okay. So the grand jury is just information or evidence that was presented. It wasn't scrutinized by a cross-examination, X, Y, and other processes that they would use in the courtroom, right? So, look, this thing got teeth, buddy. We hear some more coming in from the top cop.
No, that doesn't happen. Right? So let me see. But all they wanted to get him off the scene, they have not succeeded in that thus far, and therefore they are very, very uncomfortable. They are very, very uncomfortable. So I thought I'll update you on that matter. Now there's the next one.
So we get a chance to see what's going on with the sugar workers, right? And the reason for them being out there. We hear a lot of persons complaining about
reckless exploitation of vulnerable minors.
We hear a lot of persons complaining about their pay, right? About getting paid for all the work that they've been putting out. We're hearing people saying funds is available, funds is not available. When funds available, they're going to get paid and all kind of thing, right? Well, guess what? Persons from the PPP would have came out highlighting these details about the recent meeting that the leader of the opposition would have had with these workers and a lot of things that came from that meeting. Let's hear.
By the leader of the opposition and members of the Win Party for political theater and social media sensationalism represents a most troubling erosion of decency, abandonment of the sacred responsibility owed to the innocent, and a continued dangerous descent into a brand of politics devoid of principle, compassion, and moral restraint. The Guyanese public will recall the deeply disturbing incident at the David Rose Special Education Needs School, where a video allegedly depicting the abuse of vulnerable minors was released by the opposition leader to social media. Make no mistake, and I want to make it pellucid, that every allegation of abuse must firstly be reported to the proper authorities tasked with legally investigating any such matter. And from those reports, investigations must be done with utmost seriousness. Those found responsible must answer for their actions. Even with this in mind, there is a profound and undeniable distinction between pursuing justice for a victim and subjecting that same victim to a second indignity by allowing their suffering to become an object of endless replay, commentary, and political exploitation through upload to social media. These are not isolated occurrences, but rather disturbing entries into a growing catalog of conduct in which the dignity, privacy, and emotional well-being of minors appear to be secondary to the pursuit of political theater and public attention by WIN.
Wow. The way how the is being worded, it seems as if the man trying for clap a cyber charge in somebody. Because what y'all think about the way that that's being worded and what we actually had a chance to see went down. Drop it into the comment section, Delta 9 Travelers, or call it in. Cheryl, thanks for being a part of the live, and good afternoon to you as well.
Fights involving minors are often plastered on WIN's social media pages. The hypocrisy is made even more glaring by the conspicuous silence of the usual civil society voices, who have made a habit of rushing to judgment against the PPPC government.
I'm telling you. Do not rush towards judgment. Well, persons get a chance to analyze what's really taking place, you know. Greetings, you're on to Delta 9 Media Line. What's going on?
How are you running so far, bro?
Everything good so far, bro. How was everything on your side?
Yeah, man. I'm everything fun. Yeah, blessing of the farm, blessing of the.
Yeah, everything good with the farm.
Yeah, man. You see how this PVP rhetoric is? Eh?
Yeah.
Now we have major concern going on in Guyana. Now you come to talk about David Rose and David Rose, brother.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's why I was watching also.
We get arm out of container full with ammunition and high power rifles and everything. And we making the subject. We're making a subject, my brother, with David Rose, my brother. Huh? Really going on in the country, brother.
People playing games with people's life, buddy. That's what's going on.
Yeah?
Playing games.
When he called for them to buy VR and everything, when he went and demonstrating everything, why he made that subject matter? Yeah? Right now, coming down, but it's typically win, bring out this and win, bring out that. But if we get more serious in we country, bro, and then Venezuela right now, Mozambique themselves, bro,
Yeah.
and we didn't see him fit to call it out as it is. Yeah? And we running behind the rules and who I like picture and who I like this and who I like them, my brother. I'm serious things of one every country, my brother.
It's crazy.
Sometimes I want 33 airport.
Big up yourself, King. Thanks for calling in. Yeah, as you analyze it, there's so much going on. You could have come out and said, well, we heard about a problem that they've been having with receiving their compensation for their services, and we're working to rectify these issues. But there's no reason that persons should be out and about operating in this manner. After all, we got to make sure that we're civil, setting an example for the youth, X, Y, and Z. There's a number of things that could have quailed this situation a little better. But what was the best thing? If persons did get their money and they didn't have to come out and protest in the first place. I always hear this thing that people is saying, people always say it. Grown folks always say it, right? Prevention is always better than the cure, buddy. Why persons got to come out and protest over and over again for things they would have already worked for already? They make no sense. And as we're talking about what's going on with Team Win, one of the top-ranking members in that political movement, Honorable Haley, is highlighting this.
Statements and are being peddled, things are being peddled in the public that are not quite factual. So permit me a few minutes to clarify some of the issues. Now, for most of you who are not aware, there is a formula by which Parliament determines the number of seats on a committee each party is entitled to. This formula takes into consideration the number of votes a party received at an election and the number of seats on a particular committee. And once the calculations of the formula are done, it gives us a clear indication as to how many seats the government will hold, how many seats the opposition parties will hold individually, and then, of course, collectively. And so, based on the formula and the calculations of that particular formula, it was quite clear very early that the Forward Guyana movement did not receive enough votes to attain a seat on any committee based on the formula that was utilized. And so we were all aware of that since last year. And so what we determined to do, which was the leader of the opposition who...
Good, but if there's the rules and that's the protocol that was already put in place and you knew this, you can't decide to do something else. That's what I think. I mean, I could be wrong about this one, but what y'all think? Let me hear some more about what's being presented.
Was quite clear and made some pronouncements as it relates to his intention, as it relates to the leader of Forward Guyana movement, which is MP Amansa Walton Desir. It was his intention to nominate her for the Foreign Relations Committee, and we also intended to nominate her for the Constitutional Reform Committee and to place her as an alternate on the Natural Resources Committee. And so that was our intention, and we went into the meeting of the Select Committee on June 5th, which was after the sitting of Parliament, with that in mind. If it is that I were to show you our document, which showed all of our MPs and where they will be placed, you would see Amansa Walton Desir's name next to Foreign Relations Committee and Constitutional Reform Committee. Now, on the day of the sitting of the Select Committee, which is the committee that deals with the nominations of members of Parliament to other committees in Parliament, there was a need for another opposition member to be on the Parliamentary Management Committee. Now, it was at that point that MP Ganesh Mahipal nominated Amanza Wharton Desir, and Win seconded that nomination because we agreed and believed that all parties that are in the National Assembly should have a seat on the Parliamentary Management Committee. And so we had no issue seconding that nomination. At that point, the Speaker of the...
So then y'all got to do something as well to change the rules so that these desires could now become something that is actually experienced by the various parties in the House.
The National Assembly and also the Gail Teixeira, both of them at that point basically asserted that Amanza Wharton Desir cannot be placed on any committee in the National Assembly because of the lack of votes that she received, and the formula which suggested that, the formula which determined that she could not be placed on any committee. Now,
makes sense to me. If the persons didn't elect you to be in that position, you can't be then placed in that position. That kind of goes, I mean, you know, it goes contrary to how the rules are set. What do y'all think? Should she be allowed, or rules is rules? We're going to put that up as a poll question as well. Should she be allowed, or rules are rules? Definitely something that we should be analyzing, but let's hear some more. Coming in from Honorable Sarabo Haley.
Now, while we understood that from the inception, our response to that assertion by the Speaker and Gail Teixeira from both APNU and We Invest in Nationhood was we understood that, but we were wondering whether it is that if WIN or APNU has so determined that they want to give one of their seats to a member of another party, why would that be an issue? And there was some pushback. There was a lot of pushback from the Speaker.
Because you just had an election and you were versus this person in an election and you were voted into that position. So you can't then reverse what went down with the election and say, hey, we're going to do your own thing. You know, that's why I think, I mean, I could be wrong about it. Drop it into the comment section, Delta 9 Travelers. And if you're watching it in the rewind in the future, we get some meaningful conversation about it as well. Call it in as well and let's, you know, try to suss out what's going on right there, because it could be more than that, you know, because maybe not forget, Honorable Amansa is very good at what she does. So it might be them now getting rid of a person that can present real opposition in these positions that she was going to be placed. Because remember, Forward Guyana movement and other persons in a little close-knit setting were the ones that were able to petition or to aid in the sitting of Parliament and persons calling out people from in the positions of power to make sure that the Parliament is kept. You understand, man? So there's so much going on when we suss out, try to analyze these details coming in from high-ranking persons in WIN, and just realizing that, you know, Honorable Amansa would be a powerhouse in these positions. So they might be playing a card. But rules are rules at the end of the day, Delta 9 Travelers. And if there's the rules, then it gotta stand for everybody. But let me hear what these developments are gonna be. And as the developments come in and the updates come in on this story, we'll be following it closely and sharing it with you right here on Delta 9 Media. So make sure you subscribe.
On that matter, and he basically stated that once the formula calculated the seats, then the individual parties are not permitted to give that seat to another party. And so it was at that point that we recognized that MP Amanda Walton this year will not be able to be on any of the committees. Whether we agree with that perspective of the speaker is another story, but that was the decision that he made and the instruction that we received. And so we were unable to get her on the Foreign Relations Committee, the Constitutional Reform Committee, or as an alternate on the Natural Resources Committee.
That's crazy. Because when you hear them committee and you go back 2020, hindsight is 2020, analyze just some of the work that Honorable Amanda has been doing, and you say, yeah, she'd be a powerhouse on the Constitutional Committee, the Constitutional Reform Committee. Definitely on Foreign Affairs, you ask. Right? So we got people that capable and willing to do the job. Why not put them in these positions? Some are saying no, some are saying, listen, we're willing to do so. What are your views about this whole situation, Delta 9 travelers?
But for further clarity, just so that we understand what also went on at the Select Committee, the sectoral committees, which are the Economic Service Committee, the Natural Resources Committee, the Foreign Relations Committee, and the Social Service Committee, all allow for an alternate to also be nominated on those committees. Now, the alternate is someone who will not be at every meeting, but if by chance one of the members of the committee are unable to make it, then the alternate will be able to step in and be on that at that meeting. And so it was decided between APNU and WIN that we will share those alternates. So APNU received 2 alternates and WIN received 2 alternates. And so we were able to each nominate 2 alternates to those committees. What was also determined and agreed upon between WIN and APNU was that the vice chair of the Natural Resource Committee will go to APNU in the name of Sharma Solomon. So it was our intention, both APNU and WIN, to cede some seats to the FGM, and but the Speaker of the National Assembly, based on the formula, so guided that we were not able to do so, and so that is why we're at this particular juncture. So I hope that clarifies all of the concerns that persons had, and so that now that we're making any posts or any statements that they're made from an informed position.
Okay. So we got a bit of clarity right there on those developments. And we want to thank Honorable Sarabo Haley for making sure that these important details were clarified and persons understand, what's taking place. Paulette, thanks for being a part of the live presentation. Paulette is saying, good night, everyone on the live. Big up yourself, Paulette. Thanks for being a moderator and a frequent traveler right here with Delta 9 Media. Carlisle is saying, shalom, shalom, Carlisle. Peace to you and yours. One love every time. Stephen is saying no one is voting the corporations are buying the politicians to make laws to benefit. I'm telling you. No one is voting, persons buying them out. Big up yourself, Stephen. Cheryl. is Stanford Guyanese to mobilize themselves, organize a peaceful demonstration. It's time to shut the country down. Wait on the politicians because don't wait on the politicians because the only blah blah blah. I'm telling you. Thanks for dropping these insights into the comment section, Cheryl. Cheryl is saying it's about time persons do something more than just blah 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 because this thing going from bad to worse. Give credit where credit is due, as Mohamed, who's in the streets exposing the PPP. Stephen is saying that Americans are making laws to paralyze Guyanese. It's rough. But let me hope that that's not the reality. And let's hope that, government is actually the one in power doing all of these things because that's the way that it was structured in accordance with the Constitution, right? Cheryl is saying, well, I'm guessing that might be some type of typo. But nonetheless, big up to all the frequent travelers in the live. Big up to everybody that's going to catch this one in the rewind in the future, buddy. I'm telling you. Now, as we're talking about the women in the political arena, we're going to hear from Honorable Broomes because she was highlighting these details about the chairman of Team Win.
You see, Priya Manichan, if Priya Manichan was to get she Jews, I want to tell these young girls who now come up in the party because, some people will do all sorts of things to get to the position and so they will rise above who got the ability. Hey, I know who can graze there. But Priya Manichan knows that Priya ability and what she did in that PPP, Indian political girl, lawyer too. But when time come, I can't take Jennifer, she hear this, she weave in something. I can't take Priya, she this, she size, she this, but when to get the work done, hey. You see, women, we got our own classism. Coming down, I ain't in no rush this morning in Clinton. I'm going to touch some people corn here. Laughing emoji. And tag Odessa Primer, she might surprise. And the emoji was an article about Odessa's Primus. Now, while I know the entire world know that is one thing I can't change, my sister, Eureka Charles, who died, is Odessa's Primus mother. Odessa father is Primus, Odessa mother is Charles. Let me give you a breakdown. But I'm not representing the position merely on the fact because it's my niece. I'm representing the fact of what goes on out there and is being peddled by women ourselves and that I know about. They did it to me and they never stopped, including the men. Including the men. And it says she's a comedian. What she know about foreign affairs? And of course, in public office, and it's expected. And you should not for yourself because I don't do what I do because of public office. Nobody can teach me to dress and da.
Family and political opponents, I'm telling you. Unity or else. More of the same. Big up to all the frequent travelers right now in the chat. Thanks for tuning in and being a part of this live presentation.
100% wild-crafted sea moss. Only the best, because you deserve nothing less. 8 Butterfly.
A natural way to stay ready, baby. Because I'm ready for you, Mr. C.
The ultimate male supplement. Men's total wellness formula. Packed with essential nutrients for men's health.
She'll call you Mr. C.
You have to present yourself. And so they're going to look for the worst set of pictures with you and how to get you. Because that perception that they put out there with you, the perception that they put with Broomes is not a leader. Broomes is a fighter. Like if I'm arrogant or whatever. Well, if you're a leader that you can't fight, that is why we're failing in this country. Because you got to get leaders who will connect with people, who will fight, who will make a change, who will make a difference. You think it's walk around, sit down on Facebook and take 2 videos, this we're going to change or get all the PPP? No, we're going to come to the... And I asked the person, why you send me this? No response. So I send back, resend the message, why you send me this? I am not defending Odessa primers. I have no apology for the statements that I would make. But it's not merely on the fact because it's my niece. But I want to say to all of you, regardless of what Odessa, like a lot of us, let's put ourselves in a position. Like a lot of us. Odessa premise is no dance. Odessa started school in Barbican, ended in QC. She's son going to QC. If she chooses to be a comedian, that is a curse. Steve Harvey is a comedian. And he's running one of the biggest shows in the United States of America and helping thousands of people across the world. So because I have an education and I'm a comedian, I'm nobody. I want to ask this morning, y'all come out. Todd, who is the Minister of Foreign Affairs, what experience he had with Foreign Affairs before he got to Foreign Affairs? What experience he had before he go there? What experience Amansa had as we going into Parliament and shadowing Foreign Affairs? What? You gotta learn. Ali's the president, you think he's the best economist and this and that and that and that and foreign affairs and this and that. But you'll have people that will guide because none of them sit down there in those positions. And as people is write the speech, people is send information, people have to guide them. So you could learn the mere fact Odessa is bright enough for them in a common sense. But you see how when you how they present us to society, especially as women and strong black women and all of that. And when your makeup can't fix right and this and that and your clothes and your shoes and this and that, they present you in a kind of way to the public, like to belittle you and to talk you down. They do that to me every single day. But remember, they can't stop me. None of them. Because I'm not here by them. It was the same, or had it not been for Odessa Primus, this Azadin Mohamed would have freaking even come out without Odessa. He wouldn't have been there. And Odessa is any more clean candidate more than him himself to run this country if this country were looking for people with a heart. But once you got money, or you look a particular way, or people present you like you some educate enough people just write the pieces for become doctor and doctorate. Enough people, I was in the National Assembly and I sit down there, and when I sit down, I was embarrassed. It's sheer nonsense, these educated people, nonsense. They will run, and they run in this parliament. She didn't lie and say she went to university and get a doctorate. But any portfolio, she can stand and do it better than enough of them. Enough of them went in parliament before. You think if it's not for Odessa, anybody had time with Tabitha? She was a minister. Ask her what she did. She was a member of parliament. Ask them what they did. I'm not running out here to no defense to nobody, people. I am speaking it just like it is. And so with that, I think it is disgraceful to that woman that sent me that nonsense. Don't do it. I don't go in for it. I deal with truth. And it's not because it's a woman, I'm woman sensitive. Because if you're a woman and you're not in truth and you want to fake the people out there, I'm not running behind you for telling nobody with no fake. When time come and you watch good, and I hope somebody will talk about this and she hear this, you know, because I said it and I said publicly. When it's time come in any battle and big challenge out there and the people and the crowd and all that, Odessa, she so love she party, she leader. If the first time if you make his speech, it's only that she couldn't go and stand up there and make the speech for him. But when it's time to go somewhere and here and there and this and that and that and that, you're finding somebody else. All of them stay the same way. The politician and the women, them disencourage them. There's the bottom line of it, I'm making the point. That is the point. Some of them you see stand up them presenting, they know nothing. They sound good, but you sit down to have an in-depth conversation with them, they hollow, they ain't got nothing. They ain't got nothing. When you sit down and hear some of them, they ain't got a plan, they ain't got nothing. Somebody, you get them an idea to run with it. But when they're ready to present themselves out there, like you more intelligent more than somebody. But you see me, I'm in a position that I could talk, you know, because nobody can't beat me down to the ground. And I've learned, and I thank God for Jesus, Rochelle, that I don't try to be pretensive and this and that and that and that. Hey, I can walk on any carpet. Anyone. The best English I can speak to and I can present myself. Okay? You can't tell me about dressing this. I'm no fake. Jesus was a carpenter. You could take the humbleness in me and say what you want and try to describe me. But there's nothing that's done you out here can't say I'm a thief, as a scam, as a liar, a this and all of that. Before taking office, you know by the works. The Bible says, by the fruits you shall know them. And when you look at some of them fruits, they got none. The shading on a political party. The shading under. I hope I don't have to come and address these matters again. If she chooses.
What are your views, Delta 9 travelers? I'm telling you, we got some firehouse women in the political space in Guyana. And we got a chance right there to hear from one of them. Hard-working, always out and about, doing the work for the people, right? Big up yourself, Miss Broomes, wherever you're there. Thanks for everything that you continue to do, right? Who's live with me right now in the chat? Who is live with us right here on Delta 9 Media? If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Time for some new headlines as we get into some other headlines right here. Who remember this headline right here? New developments. A police sergeant, so it confirms that he is a special branch, a police rank. It doesn't say his division, but it just says a police sergeant has been remanded to prison after being charged in connection with the shooting incident that left a gold miner without a leg. I'm telling you. And for persons that can't remember the incident that well, we're going to get into some accounts from the victim and the honorable opposition leader.
Detective Sergeant at this man's freak, with eyewitnesses surpassing over 100 persons, including children. Where are we heading here, Van Ali? Where are we heading, Nandalal? Minister of Home Affairs, Commissioner of Police. What is going on in this country? This is unacceptable. And I want you to know, maybe, right, if the government was serious about this, you wouldn't have lost your limb today.
No, I don't think so.
Because I called on them, I called on the Minister of Home Affairs and the Commissioner of Police to look into this matter. And maybe if they looked into this matter and took proper care, you wouldn't have lost your limb. Now we have a man, yesterday, Carlos lost his limb. He will have to live like this forever. An independent man before, had a thriving business. He had his own business at the creek, located on the Linden Sioux
I achieved that business from my parents, Mr. Mohamed. So it's from the hard dedication work, from dedicating my life with my parents. I achieved that business from my parents. And it's not just for me alone. My mother, my father would have brought 19 grandchildren.
Also,
all 19.
Carlos is the father of 5. Carlos.
Greetings, you're on the Delta 9 Media Live.
Hi, good afternoon, my brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and yourself? Thanks for calling in.
Good. This man always used to call Pastor Williams a dumb, but Pastor Williams never say one thing this minute and the next minute means something, say something else. But all of these people used to be following him, except for the learned judge.
Yeah.
I mean, he couldn't make nothing over her head. But man, that woman is a brilliant woman.
Yeah.
That's right. She's appointed now outside the Guyana. Yes. So they like her to move her. He always twists the story to suit them. Twist the story to benefit them. Twist the laws of Guyana, the laws of the Constitution to benefit them. But I'm glad you were stopping the trucks with these people, the CCJ.
At one point, one of the judges had to ask if he's still arguing the same side as the person that spoke from his team before him. That was like weird.
I know.
Get confused.
I know.
Yeah.
He's a dunce. He always has to get somebody, some other liar from some way and this way, from Trinidad and some way for hours back here. And he loves to ridicule Pastor Williams. Most of the time, Pastor Williams was right, but they couldn't fight the PPP. They couldn't fight the PPP because they were in power, and whatever they say goes. They couldn't fight them.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm glad he's exposed.
Headlines are saying this. David Lal appeared before Friendship Magistrate Court on Tuesday before Magistrate Tamika Clark, where he was charged with 2 offenses, including discharging a loaded firearm with intent to maim, disfigure, and disable or cause grievous bodily harm to 37-year-old minor Carlos Trotman. The charges stem from an incident that occurred on April 12, 2026. at Chanta Creek along the Soosdijk Linden Highway. I'm telling you, left this big man, hard-working, parent, in a compromised situation, right? For the rest of his life. And definitely something that we're happy to hear the developments, but then we're hoping that it was a situation that never even would have occurred, you know? And this brother would still have his limbs, the other brother would be out of problems, and a situation like this wouldn't have even occurred, you know? Sometimes we really gotta curb the way that we respond to things, you know? This could have been a whole different type of situation, man. Now look, a sergeant in custody and a brother left without one of his limbs. Compromised, right? But guess what? Big up to all the travelers that are live with us right now as we jump into some other headlines right here on Delta 9 Media. So we see 57% is saying yes. Is Mohamed doing a great job as the opposition leader so far? 57% said yes. 55%, well, we get an update right there. 55% said yes, and 45% said no. So we see more persons are of the view that Honorable Mr. Mohamed is doing a great job so far. I mean, we put the poll up, and there's almost 300 plus persons in the live with us right now, right? So when you get a chance, Delta 9 travelers, participate in the poll. Do you think that Mr. Mohamed is doing a great job as opposition leader so far? Yes or no? Drop it into the comments section. Greetings, you're on to Delta 9 Media Live.
Greetings, Delta. Good evening. Listening to your stuff there was so much, I guess, you put out so far. The sugar workers striking, I mean, I don't understand. I mean, money was budgeted or allotted to pay these guys. I mean, since before election, apart from saying, Air Finale said they're going to be paid. These guys are not paid yet. Where is this money going? Where is all this money, brother? Right? I mean, it's not like, you know, Guyana should be making a lot of money right now. I mean,
we heard them just boasting about the, you know, the lucrative opportunities in the industry, but yet still persons working in the industry, there's the reality on the road for them. It's so unfortunate, bro.
It's the same thing at the gas station. Look at those bus drivers. I mean, money is allotted to that gas station. Why are those bus drivers or those people not being paid, right? You know, where is the money going, bro? Like, I mean, oil alone brings in so much revenue. We have bauxite going out, like 3 shipments of bauxite, they're saying at least every week, going out of Linden. Where is the bauxite revenue going? We have gold, we have timber. Where is all this money going, bro? Like it's mind-boggling, you know, right? You know,
a mind-boggling level of corruption allegedly going on the ground. That's why all the money going. That could be the only explanation, because we ain't seen nothing else being done with it.
Exactly.
Persons ain't getting paid.
Exactly. You know, and this guy being charged, this whatever, David Lal, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, we should not jump up too much about it, because, you know, unless you get convicted or we see something further than that, this can all be a game, my brother. I'm telling you, they're saying, listen,
powerful
we
point.
have to do, yes, We have to do certain things. We have to show the people we are doing something. This can be a game. I'm telling you, this is, look at what happened with the Henry Boyce killer. One of those guys' sister came and said the guy was in some special facility. He was cooking. He was barbecuing. He had
messaging people on phone and all kind of things.
Exactly. So let's not get ahead of ourselves with this guy being remanded because unless he's, because as I'm saying, these guys will have to do something to satisfy the people and saying, look, we charge him, we're detaining him, but that man could be in some fancy place sitting down and enjoying. He's on TikTok and he's on his phone and he's doing whatever. So let's not get ahead of ourselves here,
Yeah.
Also, I saw something. Mohamed was in a village called Herselling the other day, and he was showing you there's some guy, he's taking over like a reserve in that village. The man is washing barrels, like he gets his barrel that contains chemical, and he's washing them. I don't know if he's reselling them or what, but you should see the amount of space this guy is using on the reserve, and that chemical is so bad. People are complaining of headaches. People are complaining of, bro, I'm telling you, this where the guy washed this chemical, you can see the grass. The grass is kind of burning up, right?
Wow.
I mean, how can they allow, and the people in that village are calling me.
How is there not a committee to make sure you get some big tickets? You would get some gigantic fines in other parts of the world like the US. Tickets all around Europe. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, and they're calling them. People are saying they told Etchell about it. Etchell said he's going to come. He never showed up. The NDC is doing nothing. The RDC is doing nothing. Apparently, the guy who is doing this business, I guess he have a lot of contact. Because, bro, there's a police station right next to where this thing has happened. Providence Police Station is next to where this man have. Bro, I mean, you should see. I was shocked when I saw this setup. This guy, you should see the amount of barrels this guy has got. I mean, I cannot believe they were doing something like that in a residential area.
I can't believe that they got right-thinking members of the force that's gonna sit down next to chemicals that is harming the vegetation and think that is not gonna harm them.
Right.
Because it's gonna have some type of effect on you, whether you know it now or you know it later.
That's the thing, and there are some neighbors who are defending this guy. I mean, these people, I wonder how sane these people are. Who's come to this guy rescue? I mean, I guess he's looking after all of them. It's a lot of here's a good neighbor. And bro, I'm telling you, some of the things that's taking place in Guyana, it's unbelievable. Like I'm telling you, crazy stuff. And I saw what's his name, Conan Marshall. He got fed up. He's saying, you know what, I'm done. The highlighter. Yeah. And that's what because you're not getting nobody is. You're not getting no proper support, and I guess the PPP, could be playing the long game, and people are exhausted. Even Mark Benshaw, I see his program, he's not on regularly like he used to be.
Yeah. Because
I hope people don't get fed up and think. Also there's no opposition in the diaspora. At least you have a group, say in the US or a group in Canada or somewhere. So, I remember when the PPP was out of power, they had people in the States standing up. They had in Canada people standing up, so that's the other thing. You need some outside help also, right?
Unity or else more the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even Rickford Burke used to be on a lot. Rickford Burke has gone quiet also. So,
but I think Honorable Mr. Burke is playing a lot of different roles right now in the political space in the US. So that might be preventing him from getting involved in certain things because of the position he might be holding now, I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure. He might have other reasons why he's not putting up as much content as he used to. But nonetheless, thanks for calling in and for sharing those insights with us right here on Delta 9 Media.
Okay, bro. All right.
One love every time. My apologies, I think I might have dropped the call a little bit too early, but thanks again for calling in and thanks for dropping insights every time that you call in and for being a frequent traveler right here with Delta 9 Media. One love to all the frequent travelers that are in the chat right now. Big up to all the frequent travelers that will catch this one in the rewind in the future. Now we're talking about money. We're getting into what's going down with these developments with the Guyana Development Bank. Now, entrepreneurs on the ground is analyzing it, you know. Oh, before we move forward, don't forget, Team Delta is Team Samsung. Samsung, keeping us connected no matter where in the world we are located. Boom. So let me jump into these details coming in from entrepreneurs, highlighting aspects that are very interesting with what's going down with the development bank.
Guyana's Development Bank. Finally, opposition and government agree on one thing. This will be great for Guyana. I also agree that this will be great for Guyana. But the one thing I've not already talked about is yet is what will the bank be backed by? Will this bank be getting its own USD from the oil wealth to fund this transaction? Or are you going to be giving these people Guyana currency and leaving them to fend for themselves at other financial institutions and put even more strain on the pre-existing financial institution? For those of you who don't understand what I mean, almost everyone getting these loans will need USD to do whatever they want to do. If they want to buy a vehicle to better the business, they're going to have to order it. If they want to order or import goods to now start up a business, they're going to need USD to do that. Most of these people will not be investing locally, so there's going to be a demand for USD. And with the local banks fighting teeth and tongue to stabilize US at 216 and 218, whilst the road is selling US at 240 and 250, is a recipe for disaster. This is exactly what's happening in Venezuela before Venezuela economy crashed. This is exactly what's happening in Nigeria, and Nigeria is double inflation over time. Because again, if the banks is stabilizing currency at 216, 218, and the road is already buying currency at 230, everybody's going to sell the US on the road. And if there's more demand, that means that the road value is going to go up even more. So eventually, the bank is still going to adjust the currency to match the amount of demand for US that they're getting. So I don't foresee banks remaining much longer at 216 and 218. In my own opinion, I think that before the year end, banks might actually reach like 220, 225, and will all be blamed if this bank don't have its own form of USD back in these transactions, that these transactions can be done in-house instead of people visiting other financial institutions. So that's just my 2 cents. Take it around with it. And to the people who don't know how this will affect you, if USD goes up, they pass the cost on to you. Say if a man importing food and you used to like buy a nice Natura milk and it was $4.60, it might now be $5.60. That's
Implications coming in, an analysis coming in as well from an entrepreneur. We all think about those views. Drop it into the comment section or take a couple of minutes, call it in. Let's have some meaningful conversation about it. Maybe hear some more of these details connected to the Guyana Development Bank.
And so only at the level of the small trader, right, or the small farmer, or the small manufacturer, very, very small manufacturer. There is the medium-sized businesses out there.
Which this amount $3 billion
will do nothing.
Cannot even
do anything. And so, so the government has missed an opportunity of addressing the needs of the medium-sized as well. That remains out there, and that remains critical. And it is important because those medium-sized, they have already shown growth. So the risk with them is perhaps less than those of the micro enterprise. And we really want them to unleash in this economy, to grow this economy. So there is a whole section of entrepreneurs that have been completely missed in the nitty-gritty of the legislation. So it's big, fancy name, Guyana Development Bank, but it really does not deliver on what the name suggests, and this needs to be addressed. Why do we not have 3 hours of this? Listen, viewers, this is how this is. What Dr. Terence is saying is mind blowing. He's saying, and this is from an economic perspective, a man who's been in business for years successfully. He's saying, listen, $3 million when you take into consideration foreign exchange rate and everything else. What $3 million can do is just basically address those small micro enterprises, those startups. And if you look at it, East Coast had $2 million when you had the Pelori stand. It's how much? About $3 million for Pelori. We're only talking about small. But this missing a beautiful opportunity for those businesses that exist but can grow. So we're talking about this development bank in its current form does not really address or cannot really assist persons who are expanding in the manufacturing industry, who are expanding in agro processing facilities, who are expanding in export facilities, who are expanding in medium-sized firms. Yeah. So while the bank says small and medium, this medium part is completely missed because $3 million can do nothing. So actually what we're saying is remove that cap. And so that if you're a development bank and really intend to really develop Guyana, because developing those businesses that exist at a medium level and giving them the ability to grow more speaks of more employment, speaks of more taxes, speaks of more profit for Guyana. You understand me? So what we're doing is stifling those existing businesses from an ability to grow. And we're only attracting those now startup ones, very small, because $3 million can do nothing.
Dexter, I had a presentation in National Assembly, I think it was in 2023, in which I spoke directly to the financial architecture in our country. And one of the things that we have recognized is that in Guyana, we have a dinosaur financial architecture, and we've got to seriously look at the way in which it is impacting the way in which business is done in Guyana today, because you have a $1 billion financial architecture that is there right now that is supposed to be supporting $1 trillion economy. And I'm bringing this into perspective because what you're seeing there with the way in which this legislation is drafted is a lack of vision for expansion. It's a lack of vision in the case that we are $1 trillion economy. And what they're in essence doing, they're not capping the amount of money that you can receive as a young entrepreneur, but they are capping your vision, your ability to dream and expand. That is a cap that's being placed there. We live in a country in which we did not have the resources before, and today we have the financial resources, but you have a government that is in place that has not done much to modernize our financial architecture to match that of $1 trillion economy. And now they're coming in 2026 with a draft legislation for a development bank with a cap that is going to cap your ability to dream beyond a certain capacity. And that is a conversation that we definitely need to move forward with.
I'm telling you, the Guyana Development Bank can even start to operate yet. And there's a number of things being debated about what's going on. What I know is a lot of persons looking forward for having some type of ability to access, whether it's 3, 4, 5, or more, because there's a lot of persons with plans right now, and the president would have already highlighted a number of things in the orange economy. I'm coming through clearly, Delta 9 travelers. Can you hear me and hear me clearly? Drop a 9 in the comment section. Drop a 9 for me if you can hear me.
Sleepy is the only diaper brand in Guyana with such a wide range to choose from. We cater to all babies, from newborns all the way to stage 7. Our collection includes Sleepy New, Sleepy Sensitive, Sleepy Natural and Organic, Sleepy Night, and don't forget our fashion jeans. Most of all, they're available in both paste and pull-up styles. Sleepy, Guyana's #1 selling baby diaper, available at stores nationwide.
Study hard, work hard, play harder. Verb, nerve, and muscle power. Keep thinking and moving at any age. Verb, nerve, and muscle power.
One love, Delta 9 travelers. Drop a 9 in the comment section if you can hear me and hear me clearly. Drop a 9 for me. I just want to make sure that I'm coming through and I can be heard. Legal alien, I see that legal alien touch down and say, hey, you're coming through clearly. All right, good. Well, it seems like there's a lot of changes and there's going to be so much things that is going to be going down in the history book for President Trump, because yet another situation, this time at the White House, right? This time at the White House, and we're hearing that persons were plotting to do a number of things. Persons had all type of intricate organizations that they were setting up to execute something that would have triggered events in the country that, you know, sometimes I really wonder what people's mind is really there, you know? And why would a person want to do these things that are being highlighted right here? But let's hear these details coming in right now about this plot that might have entailed a drone strike and all kind of thing. Here, because it's very important, because this got far-reaching implications.
One of the men accused of plotting an explosive drone attack on Sunday's UFC White House event has waived his scheduled court appearance today and will instead stay in custody while his case is pending. Federal prosecutors say 19-year-old Tyson Proper from Ohio is one of the team leaders of the plot, involving co-conspirators from across the country with plans to pick off high-value targets to, quote, jumpstart a revolution. Nick's here with that story. Nick, 5 people have been arrested so far, and the Secret Service says the president and other fight night guests were never in danger.
That's right. Marky, good morning to you and good morning to everyone at home. Understand this. We're only at the beginning of a very long criminal case that that will definitely have to play out. The FBI and Secret Service say they stopped the plot cold before the suspects could even act. Court documents say the plot involved up to 20 people who had fringe conspiracy theories and didn't like the country's direction. The FBI...
20 people. 20 plus people. Look how many lives is going to be implicated now in this. And the plot that they were trying to execute, what they thought was going to be the end of it. They was just going to do all of that and then just walk away scot-free. That was going to be the situation. You hear some more of these details, man.
Says they became aware of the plot on June 10th when Tyson Proper's mother called police concerned about the teenager's online activities and firearm purchases. Officials say she discovered he bought firearms, body armor, ammunition, and other tactical gear. Those court documents also say investigators recovered multiple weapons, and a search of Proper's phone revealed detailed planning materials, including chat groups with approximately 19 others, drone operations, shooting locations, and escape routes. Investigators have also arrested Brian Omar Roa and Michael Allen Thomas of California and Daniel Eskridge of Missouri, and the possible leader, Abraham Hermiso Alvarez of Nebraska. Now, according to FBI court documents, the group communicated through encrypted chats, sharing maps of Washington, D.C., potential drone launch locations, shooting positions, and other routes to get away. The FBI says the plan called for drones carrying explosive devices to detonate over the UFC Freedom 250 event.
Wow. So them man want to have a real explosion over a sporting event where persons come out to celebrate and enjoy the company of other people. You understand? Where persons ply their trade, just come to work a regular shift to take care of their family and do whatever they got to do for themselves. You know, this world is a crazy place and it got some real crazy people in it. And let's say big up to everybody that was a part of the legal team that make sure that this was not executed. Because look at how many persons are out here. Look, watch how much people was out here. Look at how many persons were out here.
Forcing thousands of people to then run away, with gunmen targeting fleeing spectators and what the complaint describes as high-value targets, including politicians and other VIPs. Right now,
you had a full picture story in mind. A full picture story. You watch too much movies, right? They watch too much movies. They had a whole plot in their head. They gonna do this, and when persons running, they gonna do that. Now what you gonna do behind bars, more than likely, for more years than your age, because we hearing persons at 19. And for the things them that we hearing alleged right here, there's a lot of years connected to it.
Markey, it isn't clear from the court documents if the suspects had all the materials that they actually needed to carry out the attack. The Secret Service says the event itself was never really in danger, but the threat was taken seriously, and their investigation is far from over.
Look, it was a serious threat. We take all threats of a large nature very seriously, and we investigate them until we can validate 100% that it's no longer a threat. It was an active plot, and it's ongoing. Just because we're done with Freedom 250 or that particular event doesn't mean we're going to stop. There are still suspects at large, and we're going to work it until everyone's been identified.
Going for everybody, which is right, because we want them walking wrong. Because what's the next plot that they going to plot, man? What is next? And see how they're wicked? So when persons are already running in fear, already running because they would have felt the impact of the first wave of what they had in mind, their plot was that they can pick high value targets off. He's telling you, could you imagine? It's crazy. One love, Rasta Empress. Thanks for being a part of the live presentation. And thanks for being a moderator right here on Delta 9 Media. Big up to the Rasta Empress every time. Now, there's some. Let's hear some more.
Again, officials are looking for others who may have been involved, Marky. The 5 people in custody right now each face multiple charges, which include conspiracy to commit murder and conspiracy to commit violence on White House grounds. If they are convicted, Marky, they could each face up to life in prison.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download.
Up to life. And they didn't even start living yet, money. Up to life. And we hearing persons at 19 years old. Young men. Right? Young men. It's crazy. Big up to all the frequent travelers right now in the chat. Who's live here now with us? Vibert is saying, what great job Mohamed is doing. Check Mohamed keenly. He has the same ideology as Jagbio. Look at all his movement. As to date, has he made any attempt to remove Claudette Swing? Listen, hey, Vibert, big up yourself, King. Thanks for dropping insightful commentary in the comment section. As we analyze it, I shall I pose the question and see what person's views are about, about the way that the opposition leader has been pretty much executing his task, right? Vibert is saying, what great job. So I'm guessing that Vibert would have been one of the persons that voted no, right? Rasta Empress is saying, I think Mohamed is up to something. But no finger can touch on it because politicians are very cunning at what they do. Sound. Am I coming through clearly? I'm seeing 999 up. 9 up. All right, good. So we've seen a number of things going on right now in the country, and we would have highlighted a number of them right here on this live presentation. I want to say a special big up to everybody that took some time out to call in, every moderator in the chat, every frequent traveler right now live with us, right? All the first time travelers with us. Make sure that you subscribe, buddy. It don't cost you nothing to subscribe and to be a part of what's going on right here on Delta 9 Media. Now, the Honorable Attorney General was highlighting these details. Now, as we think about it, right? What I was analyzing is that as I listened to what's going on, it sounded as if Guyana is going to go in the direction of the UK, where persons that are minors are banned from having social media accounts. Now, I want to ask persons that are live right now, even though that might not be a part of the poll, but we're going to put it up as a poll in another video, or you can drop your views right now in the live or in the comment section if you're watching it in the rewind, right? But do you think that that would be a good venture for them to prevent persons that are minors from having social media accounts? Do you think that that would make a beneficial, a sensible, something that makes sense moving forward, like a step forward that would help the youth to not be affected by all that's going on in social media? Given that the UK would have already made these steps, do you think that this would be beneficial in a country like Guyana? Let's hear some of what the Attorney General is highlighting right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Regulating cyberspace is no longer an option in the world. It's no longer an option. This is not a debatable issue. Cyberspace must be regulated. That is the new reality. How we regulate it is the question. Our government's position is that we will do everything to ensure that we get a national input. The government doesn't want to go alone, doesn't want to travel this road alone for obvious reasons. The ramifications are far-reaching, are profound, are complex. The government, no government thus far has found anything close to an ideal methodology on how to regulate this cyberspace. And all governments have chosen the path of public engagements, public consultations, and getting the majority, at least, of the population in that society on board. And we are following that proven and tested blueprint. To understand the complexity here, just imagine for the last 2,000 or more years, we have been trying to regulate human conduct on Earth. Conduct that you can see, conduct that is tangible, conduct that you are in close proximity with. And when you look at the level of criminality in the world, I don't think anyone can say that we have done well as a race, a human race. In fact, if you look at criminal conduct over the last 100 years, you see that there has been an increase in criminal conduct. At one stage in the evolution of society, you had to deal with regulating actions at sea. And we had to confront that. And that's how we developed maritime laws. But if you look out there now, fortunately, we can see. You could hardly spot a boat or two. The point is that the activities out there is a minuscule fraction of what is happening on the ground. So that was not so difficult to regulate. Now we have to regulate space, and regulate space in a time and in an age of technology that you can be on your cell phone and be communicating on 3 or 4 platforms simultaneously. You can hardly do that on land. But you can do that. You can be on Facebook, you can be on WhatsApp, you can be on Twitter, you can be on YouTube, all in seconds after one another. And you are operating out there. We can see. You're not going up there. You are on earth, but you are moving there. How do you regulate that? And that is the new global challenge.
The new global challenge is how to regulate the international digital connection, among others, among other things, among other aspects of the internet. You heard it right there from the leader or one of the leaders in the governing party right now, the Honorable Attorney General, is saying something got to be done about what's going on in cyberspace. What are your views, frequent travelers? Delta 9 Media, big up yourself every time to all the travelers that are live with us. Big up to everybody that's going to catch this one in the rewind in the future. Support independent media. If you would like to become a channel member, that is our channel membership barcode right there at the side of my head, right? Consider joining the channel as a channel member and be a part of everything that we have going on right here on Delta 9 Media. Now, there's a number of videos that you will see on the membership part of the channel that we might not put up on the public side of the platform for a number of reasons. So definitely there's a number of advantages to being a channel member right here on Delta 9 Media, and it helps to support everything that we have going on right here on the channel. You know, thanks for being a part of everything that we have going on. You know, how many persons subscribe to the channel so far? I'm thinking we are probably almost at 33,000. I think there's the big number coming up soon. 33, right? And we keep growing, and you know, we keep growing and we keep growing and we keep doing the work of the people, you know, networking with persons all over the world, promoting businesses internationally, connecting with audiences as well internationally. I'm planning to do a live where I share the link and, you know, we network on the live if persons would like to come on and be a part of a panel where we discuss a number of different things. Still analyzing it, but definitely something that I'm going to be looking into doing. Thanks for being a part of this live presentation and for making it what it is. Big up to all the moderators. Big up to all the frequent flyers. Big up to all the persons that are here for the first time. One love every single time. I'll catch you in the next flight. And look out for the pre-recorded uploads, because we're going to have a number of them coming at you very soon and very shortly. One love.